Do I allow family that kicked me out at 18 back into my life? Wife thinks I should. Holy cow, never in my dreams would I have thought that I would be the guy posted on Reddit asking for advice. I normally tend to lurk and offer occasional advice. But this one might need external opinions from. Sorry if a bit too long. So little backstory. I'm a twin, and when I was born, I hadn't developed my lungs fully, so I had to stay in the hospital for quite a while. Due to this, I had a lot of developmental and emotional issues. Dyslexia and anger issues. Now I don't know if this is the reason, but I believe so, that because of these issues, I was treated poorly by my family. Like I was somehow a burden on them. Not to say they were abusive, but the neglect I received was a lot. For an example, on our birthdays, I would ask for something and my brother would get it instead. One year asked for a boombox, not a big one but a smaller one. They were all the hit in the 80s, instead my brother got it. Christmas came around, asked for a remote-controlled car, brother got one. I was told due to funds had to wait till after first of the year. Never happened, so basically got nothing but clothes for Christmas. While my twin got toys. I tried for years to show I was as good as my brother. He was always good at school, while I of course struggled. In 6th grade, I worked hard to make sure I got good grades, all BS, which was good for me, and they said, "Oh nice, your brother got all A's." I think it was at this point I realized where I stood. I was just a roommate that they had to take care of, nothing more. So as a kid, I figured that if I can't get attention for positive things, then I'll do whatever, and if I get in trouble at least they would be forced to pay attention to me. Not the brightest idea, but when you are 11 to 12 years old, what do you expect? When I turned 18 shortly after graduating high school, I was met at the door with a bag of clothes. I was told that I had to go, that they did their job and I needed to leave. I asked what about my brother. They stated he was going to be somebody as he was going to college, where I struggled in school, so clearly I was going to be a bum. To tell you the truth, I was ready to go anyways. I already knew how they felt, so this didn't even bother me. I grabbed my bag, my mom tried to hug me, but I ignored it and walked out the door, never looking back. It took a while for me to get on my feet. Nowhere to go, no place to sleep, not a penny to my name. But I had some friends to rely on, at least temporarily. Fast forward a few years and I meet my wife while I was working at a gas station. We just clicked. Few years later we got married. We built a home together, something I never really had growing up. Back in 2005 we had a baby girl and 2 years later a boy. From my perspective my life is perfect. Family, home, a great job in IT. That was until yesterday. I received a phone call from my mom telling me my dad passed away, and that she and the family would hope that I could make it to the funeral. Mind you, I don't know how she got my number, but probably via my brother, but I was shocked to say the least. I told her I was busy working, which I was 12-hour shifts are fun, lol, and would let her know later. She started to say something to the effect that they miss me and would like to be a part of my life or something like that, but I hung up. Kinda rude, I know, maybe even ahish. But from my perspective I haven't heard a word from these people in 32 years. So why would I give them any more of my time? I told my wife, and although she knows about my family, she thought it would be the right thing to do. Seeing that my mom reached out to tell me, where she could have not told me, that they are family and probably feel bad and want to reconnect. Mind you, my wife has a big family and they've always treated me like family. So her view of family is different than mine. However, as far as I'm concerned, I already have my family. Those other people are former roommates. That I have no obligation to anyone but those who I care about and who care about me. Wife and kids. I get it, my wife loves me and is thinking of me and how I might regret not going. Just seems like they now know that dad is gone and life is short, so now guilt is creeping in and they don't want to die with that guilt. I mean, do I go at the wife's suggestion and be miserable being around people that I learned to let go of and not care about in order to look like a better person? Or do I stay home and continue to live my life, putting my own family first and ignoring those people? Guess asking those that have gone NC with their family if they let them back in, was it worth it? Or did it backfire in your face and something you wouldn't ever do again or suggest to others? Additional info. Mind you, I live in Florida and they probably all still in California. So that would be a long trip and not sure worth it. As far as my twin, we don't talk, not that we hate each other, we just walk different paths in life. I get / send the occasional Christmas card, but that's it. Unless some miracle has happened, my mom is probably still the self-centered person she's always been. She always wanted to be seen as the good person by family and friends. Update. Okay, first, holy crap, I didn't think my post would get so many comments. I tried my best to respond to as many comments as possible as they came in. But after signing out to cook dinner and spend time with the family, when I came back, there were hundreds of comments. So, although I didn't respond to each one, I did read them all. All 750 plus, even had to read some this morning. Second, thank you everyone for taking the time to read my post and then to take time out of your day to comment, share your story, post some kind words, and even the few that were blunt about what I should do. Third, at the suggestion of so many of you, I sat with my wife and we went through the comments together so she could get a better understanding of where I was coming from. Although some were a little brutal, she understood and apologized for overstepping. I reassured her that her heart was in the right place and nothing to be sorry for. Fourth, at the suggestion of someone who posted, "Sorry lost your name" in the vast comments, that I contact my brother. I did just that. Update time. Okay, folks, I hope you are ready for this shit show of karma that is about to unfold. Strap in and hold on. So I called my brother to talk to him. I asked him if he had time to talk, and he did. I asked him if he gave my number to his mom, and he mentioned he did. He thought it would be better to hear about our dad's death from mom than from him. I asked him why I would want to hear from someone who kicked me out at 18 and never heard from in 32 years. He was shocked. He told me that mom said that I could stay but I had to pay rent, but I told them I would never pay rent and left on my own. As others said in my OP, narcissistic people do and say things to make it about them and make themselves look better. I can't really be surprised at this, to tell you the truth. This is exactly who she was back then and even now. Make me look like the bad apple and her / them as the ones who never do wrong. We had a good talk. Never getting that sibling / twin bond back, but we did agree to try and at least catch up more instead of Christmas cards and birthday messages. Like I said in my OP, he's not a bad guy. We just walk different paths. So then I asked him why mom wants to reconnect and why she wants me at the funeral. You guys were right. Turns out that they spent everything they had, their entire lives, trying to live like the Joneses. Now that dad is gone, she has nothing to her name. No savings, just a small amount of SS per month and a small portion of my dad's pension. Living in a small trailer. They heard that I actually became somebody, and she was telling others that she couldn't wait to see me at the funeral. She was hoping I would bring my kids so she could see her grandchildren. She actually told my brother that I would be coming, WTF, and was hoping that we could fix our relationship. I'm guessing so that she could start asking for money. As many of you said she would do. Seeing she's dirt poor now. I informed him, after thinking about it, mostly listening to you guys, that I would not be attending, and in no time did I tell his mom I was coming. I feel bad dad is dead, but I already mourned them years ago. I'm at peace with myself, and her deaths are and will be no different than that of a stranger. That I feel it won't be for me if I go. It will be for his mom and making her look good. I'm not interested in doing anything for her. They wrote me off 32 years ago, and I'm in a way better place without her toxicity, narcissism, and lies. I have to give him credit. He wasn't a jerk about it. He understood where I was coming from. I told him, if anyone asks why I'm not there, to tell them the truth or lie. At this point in my life, my immediate family is more important than people who've been absent from my life for 32 years. So don't really care what he tells them. As far as his mom, I'll be staying NC and blocking the number that she called me from. My wife and I both agree that it's best for me and our family. Not only for mental reasons, but for financial reasons. I didn't work as hard as I did to get where I'm at to lose it all to her. As some of you suggested, I'm gonna have a small goodbye for my dad on my own time. Again, thanks internet strangers. I never knew so many random people could be so nice and caring. This old guy truly thanks all of you. I cheated with my brother's girlfriend and married her 10 years ago. How can we reconcile? This is long. When I was in my mid-20s, my younger brother, Ezra, 19, went away to an out-of-state school. I just finished my own stay at my university, so I went back home to find an apartment close to family. Ezra's girlfriend Melanie, 19, also stayed behind to study at a local college. Her and I would hang out once in a while. I didn't realize at first I was playing with fire by doing this. Melanie and I got closer. We would go to the movies, grab a bite, and we would hang out at family dinners. EZ couldn't be there, but my dad would extend invites to Melanie, who EZ dated all throughout high school. They planned to be married after school, so she was family. My dad also remarried, so we were trying to build new bonds with his new wife and her kids, one of which was close in age to Melanie. I guess things began to get messy with my dad's new wife began to comment that I looked better with Melanie. I had a stable job and was ready to start my life and settle down. Melanie was offended at first, but as we grew closer she began to also make similar comments. EZ would come down for summer or some weekends where they would still sleep together and function like a couple. When he would leave, she would be with me. Things got physical one night after I reacted jealously at her and EZ snuggling up. It was the turning point that I'd been waiting on. I know now I was wrong, and I'm not proud of any of this. My dad and his wife were at odds over our relationship. My dad was actually furious with me and demanded we stop. Melanie was disinvited from family dinners, and my dad reached out to my mom to inform her about us. My dad's wife had an opposite opinion. I have another sibling, 6 in total, all brothers, Aaron, who suspected something was off. Things came to a head when Aaron took EZ aside during a visit to let him know what he learned from who knows where. Aaron has always had it out for me, or so I believe, a story for another day. But what happened after set my whole life in motion in the direction it's been for the last decade. It's been just over 10 years since Ezra discovered what we had done and set the whole family on fire. He had a go at our parents and my dad's wife for her involvement and their silence, and then he just left. It took a while, maybe a few months, 8, but he left and I have yet to ever see him again. Those 8 months I was not a kind person. After Melanie was embarrassed and mistreated by EZ for cheating, I immediately took her in and we became official. Our family disapproved for a while, but eventually they came around. She fell pregnant and I proposed. Her parents and my parents learned of this and agreed that it was best for the baby that we married, so they paid for everything. It was a humble wedding, but my family pulled through for me and showed up. During this time, Aaron continued to lecture my parents about their involvement with our relationship and abandonment of Ezra. I understand that he was in pain and needed them. I did too. I was becoming a new father and husband. I was looking into buying my first home, starting my first big job, and planning a wedding. I didn't expect Ezra to suck it up, but they are my parents too. My parents were preoccupied with us, so much so that Ezra moved a few towns over and we didn't notice until a month or so. We used to see him around town where he worked, but noticed we stopped seeing him. I reached out only to find his number was changed. Aaron was no help, just criticisms and warnings about Ezra's well-being. No kind words for me, Melanie, or our child though. I lost 2 brothers in actuality. Eventually our wedding grew closer and the invitations were sent out. No response from EZ and Aaron, which I expected, so I asked my mom to verify with them. I understood if the answer was no. What we found was they were completely gone. Aaron had a longtime girlfriend who RSVP'd no to our wedding and clammed up about where my brothers went off to. One aunt, the one who would often echo Aaron's comments and skipped out on my wedding, let us know that they were safe and that we needed to move on. So that was that. Sad to say I haven't seen them in 10 years. My parents were obviously distraught and regretful. It put a huge damper on our wedding and the birth of my child. We thought about combining their names as a middle name for my son, but ultimately decided no. They would likely never meet my kids, so no need to confuse him. However, watching my parents break down whenever family would get together took its toll. Anyone who knew where they were did not say. It remains a gray cloud over our lives to this day. I thought we had moved on by the time Mel and I had another kid. My parents seemed happy to be with me and my remaining brothers, and they saw that Mel and I were serious about our relationship, an ideal match. Soon enough, though, my mom decided to voice her regrets to me and Melanie personally. When she first found out about our relationship, she was staunchly against us, but came around when Mel fell pregnant. Now she remains that she made a mistake where she lost 2 sons. Her relationship with Mel has suffered greatly. My dad's family is much more welcoming to Mel. She's one of their own. My dad does miss his sons, but also loves his grandkids. He was content with this for a long time until my mom went ahead and located Aaron and Ezra. It hurt to feel that she would prefer to have held onto them and lose me and my sons in the process. She found that they were both married, Aaron to his longtime girlfriend who eventually moved away years ago, and Ezra to an unknown woman. Both have a good amount of children, more than I have in fact. My mother got some therapy and reached out to my brothers and has made contact with EZ. Aaron declined to reconcile. So she's been in contact with him for a year, even going as far as taking my youngest brothers with her to spend Christmas with EZ and his family. I've seen pictures of his sons and daughters and his wife too. I thought to keep a lot of this from my dad, but I come from a gossipy family, so I did show him what I found on my mom's Facebook before they could. My dad was overcome again, as if the wound was freshly exposed again. He felt he missed a lot and couldn't bear it. He looked at the images for a long time and eventually called my mom, and they spoke for hours. So I sit here with fractured relationships everywhere. My mom does not approve of me and my family. Mel and my mom do not speak. My dad is heartbroken. Ezra and Aaron took off and built a life with their own families. From pictures it seems they are still close, and though Aaron does not speak to our mother, his wife and kids do. The rest of my siblings are young men, just coming into their own. I love them so much, but I can't relate to them like I relate to my brothers who are closer in age. It's been years since I've had to deal with what my actions have caused. My wife is beginning to get insecure about my feelings towards her. She wonders if I regret her and the kids. I want to fix this. I failed to fix it before, but I need to now. I don't know how to repair it though. How can I make amends for a marriage and life I don't regret? TLDR, I cheated with and married my brother's girlfriend. My 2 brothers rebelled and became estranged after we announced our engagement. It's been 10 years and my parents were still hurt that they cut off the whole family. My mom has made contact with one brother and my dad is now aware of how much he's missed out on. I would like to fix this.